Songpond TV.
Hi and welcome to this episode of Songpond TV. My name is Ruth and I will be hosting you in this fourth episode. And again, Songpond TV is brought to you by Songpond.com, the new and fun website where you can learn to play your favourite songs. As always, Songpond TV is completely user-based. This means that each episode is entirely based around the emails we get from you saying what you want to see. To do this, all you need to do is click on the Have Your Say link at the Songpond.tv website, if you're not already there, and tell us your requests of what you want to learn. This could be techniques, tips, reviews, or something completely different. Right, we've got some really great stuff coming up for you. We've got a lesson on the major scale, which as your request, we have emails flooding in about wanting to know about scales. So in this episode, we're looking at the major scale specifically. But right now, we've got the tip for today. The episode tip for today is how to combat that really tough part in a song that you are learning. If there is a particular section or run in a song that you keep stumbling on, then you need to isolate that part. Instead of playing through the whole song every time you go to practice for a piece, just start by honing in on the most difficult part and play it as slowly as you need to get it right. Then you can add it to the rest of the song, playing it very slowly and gradually work up your speed to play the whole song through. And you'll find that isolating the most difficult parts will help you to get through them instead of skipping over them and hoping that you get them right. Okay, on to today's lesson on the major scale. Now this lesson is adapted from a larger lesson on scales that is soon to be released within Songpond. So if you'd like to know more about that, then you can seek that out. Scales can be used in many different contexts. You can use them for warming up before playing, for learning key signatures. You can use them as runs or riffs, or even when you're improvising. Today we're going to be looking specifically at the major scale. We'll be looking at how it is made up so that you can take what you've learned in this lesson and figure out any major scale on the keyboard. And this is a lot easier than memorizing every single major scale. To learn the major scale, we need to use a measuring step so we can describe the distance between each note and the note after it. We're going to be using the whole step and the half step. The half step is the distance between one note and the note that is directly beside it, either above or below. So if I have a note, I've chosen C at random here, then a half step above is the note right next to it. So the closest one is that black note there, so that's C sharp, that's a half step away. Or if I go a half step below, then it's the B. So it's the smallest step you can take between a note is a half step. And then there's the whole step, which is the distance between one note and the note that is two notes next to it. So we'll take that same note, the starting note C, and we're going two notes. So 1, 2, and that's our whole step. And the whole step, as you would think, is made up of two half steps. So the same if we go down, 1, 2, and that's our whole step there. The major scale corresponds with the major key signature. So the notes in the C major scale, which we're going to learn today, is C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then normally when we play scales, we play the root both at the bottom and the top, so we end on C. So we've got no black notes here, it's all the white notes. So if we give numbers to these notes in relation to their position in the scale, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are called scale tones. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the gaps, the interval between each note in the scale using the measuring steps that we were talking about before. So that's our half step and our whole step. So if we take our C major scale, which we've already taken a look at with the scale tones 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to measure the distance between each note so that you can take the same pattern of measurements and place it on any other position on the keyboard to play a major scale starting from any note. So the first notes we're going to look at is C and D. which are of 1 and 2 scale tones. So the distance between those is a whole step. So we've got our 2 half steps here. So our first measuring step is a whole step. Then between scale tone 2 and scale tone 3, it's another whole step. So we've got our 2 half steps there. Between scale tone 3 and 4, we've got a half step. And then between 4 and 5 is a whole step again. Between 5 and 6 is a whole step. Between 6 and 7 is a whole step. And between 7 and 8 is a half step. So you'll find that goes whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So if you memorize the scale in terms of the measuring steps that you need, then you can displace this to anywhere on the keyboard to play a new scale. Okay, so now that we've had a look at what makes up the major scale, and we've had a look at the measuring steps so you can make up a major scale starting on any note on the keyboard. Now we're going to have a look at the most common way of using your fingers to play them so that you don't get tangled up. So we're going to start with the right hand, and again we're using our example of the C major scale. So we start with our 1 finger, which is our thumb. If you haven't already come across Songpond lessons and piano lessons in general, we number our fingers from 1 to 5, from thumb to pinky. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we can easily talk about fingering techniques without having to talk about thumb, pinky, middle finger, ring finger, index finger, which is a bit long-winded. So we use numbers. So if you try and get used to that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your left hand. Okay, so back to our right hand. We start on C, remember, and we've got our 1 finger, 2, 3 fingers, and then we're using a fingering technique called the thumb under technique. If you want to learn more about this is a Songpond technique lesson, so you can go and check that out at www.songpond.com. But the thumb under technique, in a nutshell, is we've got our 3 finger here, and we're bringing our thumb underneath the fingers to come around behind and play that F. So I'll do that again. Bringing our thumb under, bringing it behind to play the F. So now we just go up with our fingers, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our 1 octave ascending in the right hand. Now we're going to come back down and we just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's another fingering technique that you can also learn in Songpond. It's called the hand over technique. And we're bringing our 3 finger over the top of the thumb to play the next note, which is the E. And then down to our 1 finger. Okay, so that's our right hand. Let's get on to the left hand, and then you can have a go at practicing this in your own time. So left hand, we start with the 5 finger. So that's our pinky, remember? On C, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to go 3 finger over, which is our hand over technique that we learnt for the right hand just before. So we go 3 finger over to the A, 3, 2, 1. And that's our 1 octave ascending. Then to go down, 1, 2, 3, thumb under, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So practice those scales. Practice them separately, and then eventually you'll be able to put them together. And it's a really good technique for warm-ups when you're playing, and as I said before, once you build your speed up, it's good for improvisation as well. Now this has been a really short lesson on scales. If you want more, in particular how to play scales over many octaves, play them up and down the keyboard, then you'll have to check out that Songpond lesson on the major scales. And also within Songpond there's also lessons on minor scales and chromatic scales. So there's lots of juicy lessons for you to sink your teeth into.
SPTV, proudly brought to you by Songpond.com, where you learn to play your favorite songs.